It is the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. I'm your host, Barry Welsh, and I'm joined by Galaxy Boog. And 72 hours ago, we were on a panel together discussing things. And I mentioned that I had information that the Capitol was going to be stormed, occupied, Congress was going to be held hostage until Trump supporters got their will. And I was about 75% right, unfortunately. And you think that there might be more to this, or you have a different
I
view?
just have a different perspective um, of looking at all of this.
All right, let's hear it.
First, I kind of wanted to ask you something.
Sure.
I was curious what you're doing all of this for.
What do you mean?
What are you hoping to gain from everything that you're doing right now?
Um, Peace of mind, maybe. I don't know. Honestly, as far as money goes, I've made $497 since I started the program back in January from YouTube. And I want to get the EAR group started because I think it's incredibly important, especially now. I'm hoping to gain knowledge. I'm hoping to gain wisdom and understanding. When I was involved in politics, and I would go to talk to somebody in the community of color, a lot of times they didn't want to talk to me, and they simply said, "You have no idea what's going on in our world," and I didn't, and I think I'm trying to do that with this platform. I'm trying to give people from all perspectives the possibility of seeing what's going on in other people's worlds, and seeing maybe that we all do have a lot more in common and a lot more to try to work for unity and peace and justice and equality and everything that this country's supposed to stand for.
I got you. I was just curious.
Oh, and let me add one more thing, because there is another important reason that that what I'm doing is so important, and it's because with this COVID thing, this fills an incredible void for me. You know, the opportunity, especially when I do a live, and I get to interact and answer questions, and you know, it's just I don't know. It's a nice release, I guess, of what, you know, it keeps me from incredible depression and anxiety over what's going on in the world. You know, I love the viewers. I'm so thankful to have this platform. But in all honesty, that's important to me. You know, that I have that. It's kind of it's kind of like a therapy, I guess. You know, because people ask me things, people give comments, and I respond. And but I take what goes out very seriously, you know, and I try to really have diverse opinions on things. So I really don't have, you know, and I've been asked that before. So I'm glad you asked that. And I'm glad I've had the opportunity to address this. I really don't have an agenda. I feel like this is a culmination of everything I've ever done. You know, the first thing I really did after college was I was a coach and teacher of world and US history and psychology and sociology. And then I went into radio and entertainment, and then I went into the ministry. And once I retired from that, I went into politics. Actually, I went into politics before I retired from that. And then I was a CEO of a not-for-profit. And all the contacts I've made, all the experiences I've had, I feel like they've all culminated in me being on here talking about the things I talk about.
Like I said, I was just curious.
Yeah.
But I did want to kind of explain, why I do what I do.
Cool.
And that's for the people. That's for everybody, because I see oppression happening to everybody. The left, the right, melanated people, white people, Indians, Chinese, and so on and so forth. I'm not just paying attention to what's going on here. It's happening everywhere. And
globally, right?
Sir?
I said you're talking globally?
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
There's so many voices right now, and everybody's so distracted, and they're not listening to what's going on. And that the only thing they are listening to is the information that's being given to them. And like, just not calling Angry Knuckles out or anything, but he says he has melanated people in his family. Well, so do I. And I can't wake up tomorrow and see one of them got shot on the news. I can't. I'll lose myself. I have nothing to gain from this whatsoever, because it's not for me. And you can't speak for other people, which is exactly what this media has been doing, this government's been doing. But they're not representing the people. You see this, I see this. What happened 3 days ago shows this. Do I agree with what they did? Absolutely not. They went about it the wrong way. They're not on one collective mind. Do I agree that this is somewhat necessary? Yeah.
Okay.
This is not just some social media or internet conspiracy. The powers be have people at each other's necks. Do you know what it's like to be called a terrorist and you're not a terrorist, Barry?
No, I do not know that, but I know you do.
Yeah, personally, because by local officials, I've been labeled a terrorist, but I'm still here. I'm still able to speak for myself, because no man can speak for me but me. You had government officials actually send local police department information that said that I was in Lafayette to attack Antifa.
To what?
And
I'm sorry.
for that,
Can you repeat that? You were in Lafayette to what?
they sent local police department information that said I and the Boogaloo Boys were in Lafayette to attack Antifa.
To attack Antifa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I heard on CNN the other night that the Boogaloo Boys were lumped into they were calling it a riot at the time, that it was the Proud Boys, the Boogaloo Boys, and and I immediately thought, there was nobody there that had a Hawaiian shirt on, was the first thing I thought, to be honest with you. And that's not necessarily a sign, but it is one of the ways of identifying each other, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't see any of that. Do you know, before we go on, just to make it clear and get out there, and you would know if anybody, were there Boogaloo Boys involved in storming of the Capitol?
I can't speak for any man,
Okay.
but
Fair
I
enough.
mean, I'm sure there may have been some up there,
Okay.
and I would know the reason behind that.
Okay.
And
It
because
was.
me fucking lies.
Okay. All right. All right. Now go ahead with your.
As far as
Why do you think, do you think that Wednesday was a wake-up call?
it should have been, I believe it.
Do you think?
It is necessary in a sense, just like Grandmaster Jay, for example.
Uh-huh.
You've got two false prophets, basically, that are saying they're here to save the people, and who's their people? Is it one side? Because I know I'm not exactly religious. I don't pick one particular religion. I find God in everything.
Okay.
I've looked over them all. There's a lot of indiscrepancies as far as wording goes, but the overall message seems to be the same. But
Now
you
said two false
are specifically saying that they're here to save a particular people. I know that, like I say, I'm not really religious, but I've read.
Right.
Jesus died for everybody, not one people. And I don't know if it's the COVID and everything going on, it's just all this distraction. And we've lost touch with our spirituality.
Okay.
Nobody loves their neighbor like themselves.
Agreed.
And they're watching all of this happen. They're labeling Black Lives Matter with Antifa. And then you've got Proud Boys against Boogaloo, against Three Percenters, so on and so forth.
Right.
You see they're pitting us against each other.
Right. And that's why it's important to me to find out who's who and what everybody really believes. And that's why I wanted to have this big summit thing to maybe get everybody to understand that, hey, on a lot of things, we're all pointing in the right direction, the same direction, I should say. Because we get pitted against each other all the time. Old versus young, man versus woman, white versus black. I mean, on and on.
They've created this division.
I'm sorry?
I said they've created this division, though.
Who do you,
not
who
the powers that be,
okay.
Whoever that may be,
Okay.
elected officials seem to be doing powers that be. I just don't see how people are sitting here and watching this and they want to put their opinion or their 2 cents in of what they should have done, but they're not out there, supporting them regardless of their rights, whether it be Black Lives Matter, their First Amendment that was being trampled on. Whether you disagree with somebody, you can still support their rights.
Right. Of course.
And with what happened 3 days ago, that's considered constitutional.
How so?
When the government becomes destructive to no ends, it is not only the constitutional right, but the responsibility of the man and woman to have sit down basically and ensure that these rights are not infringed upon anymore. But it has to be done collectively. Everybody has to sit down together. It can't be for one person or one group of people.
Now, um, I don't agree with anything that happened on Wednesday but I do have a question based upon strategy. Um, why, once all of those people got into the Capitol, did they not keep the Capitol? If you,
For 60, what, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours?
no, why didn't, if they went that far, why did they stop at the point they stopped at? What made them stop at the point they stopped at? You know what I mean?
Political did.
Why didn't they just keep it for days until they got what they wanted? Because that's what I thought the original plan was. I'm glad it didn't happen. And I'm just asking for
And I am too, because that
historical
was
purpose.
very bad for everybody.
And I know you're just, you don't have an answer. You don't know exactly why, but in your opinion, what do you think happened?
I mean, from what I physically saw on live feeds the entire day, because I didn't even sleep that night. I was watching what was happening in the hall, everything that was said. Um, from what I saw, police officers originally let them in. They didn't show you that.
I have seen footage of that. Yes, I have. I haven't shown it. I haven't seen it on mainstream media, but yeah,
But
some
then you have
links showing.
politicians use their personal police basically to defend against the people. I mean, because what we can all agree to disagree, but they pay taxes for that building. That's everybody's building, and they use their personal police to stop them from getting in the rest of the way, and that is what it is. And like I said, we can agree to disagree, but they're no longer representing the people, and I see that they're representing themselves. And I saw that further when they resumed in the hall when they were speaking. For instance, I heard, now that we've gained control and the hall is returned to its rightful owners, as if if they were the owners.
Yeah, there was some very elitist sounding talk. I totally agree with that.
Right?
Yes, I did hear it. And I think I commented on it on my live that, this is an example of the elitism that a lot of us oppose in Washington, D.C. But
Everything has been necessary for the people to realize that we're all pitted against each other. And if you went about this the right way and loved your neighbor as yourself and defended their rights, things could be different. It doesn't have to be violent. We just need to come together as a people, everybody. Sit down and discuss this. Because nobody can speak for you but yourself. You can't tell one race what their problems are. One race can't tell another race what their problems are. You don't live in that skin.
right,
You don't walk in those shoes.
right.
But unless we sit down and we figure this out, this is going to get worse. You're going to have problems where they're going to continue to follow one man and not yourself.
Do you have any answers? What do we do other than keep sitting down and talking about it?
Actually take action, come together, because I'm sick, just like everybody else is, of everything going on. I can't sit here another year of this, let alone, I like I said, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm exhausted. I live paycheck to paycheck, and I do what I do, and I pay with that my own money. Nobody funds me,
Right.
but I do what's right, and I know that,
Do you think,
and I legally, because otherwise I'd be in fucking jail right now,
do you think,
regardless of if they fucking called me a terrorist or not.
do you think a private summit would be possible of
Well,
different groups just to begin
I
talking?
sent you that flyer. That is one of multiple flyers that I and several others have been working on for months. We've seen this. We've been trying to warn everybody.
Okay.
Nobody wants to listen. And then you've got media spinning everything around to their agenda, like they're doing right now.
Yeah.
And like some people are just accepting that. I'm sorry, Barry, but like we can agree to disagree. You
Mhm.
can't speak for another man, and you can't just label somebody a terrorist and accept that. Do you think I'm a terrorist? I love, that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of Trumpers that are like that are just misguided by one man.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah, that's what the episode before this one was basically about.
But as I was saying, I sent you that flyer of January 17th. That is,
I've actually got that written down as before we go, I want to talk about this January 17th.
we've been trying to spread that on what social media some of us do have left
Mhm.
for the past almost 2 months now. And that is for everybody to just put down their racial differences, their political differences, their religious differences, and so on and so forth for one day,
Mhm.
and come and sit down and speak for yourself and not let anybody speak for you.
Okay, that's been spun into January 17th, all state capitals are going to be attacked.
See, that's what they like to do. We're not trying to
I just want to get it out here because all of this is kind of breaking. It's just now happening as far as the spinning of it. What you've been telling, you sent me these flyers a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we are trying to get the people together. I told you, I believe that this was our last chance
Yeah.
to sit down as a collective whole and figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. And do you
Now
think,
they're trying to spin it and say we're trying to attack the Capitol. Yeah, we're coming armed. We're coming armed because we're expressing and we're exercising our constitutional rights. We're coming to talk amongst the people. We're not there for the Capitol building. We're not there to attack anything.
it's
We
just a
want
meeting point?
people to come together and exercise their rights.
And that's at every state capital and that's at each capital in every state, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
If
Do
we want real fucking change, you're gonna have to put all those differences aside and emotions and sit down and figure everything out. Because you are just as tired as me. We're all fucking exhausted of this shit.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't keep playing this fucking game with the powers that be.
Okay, let me ask you something then. Um, just spurring from all of this. And what would be the most effective thing for me to do on January 17th? Would it be to be here monitoring everything going on all around the country and reporting on it? Would it be for me to be at the capital of Indiana and just reporting on that? Or would it be for me to be at the capital of Indiana and actually sitting and listening and not involving the platform at all?
That would be completely and utterly up to you. I'm
I
not.
know,
I
I
don't.
know,
I don't tell anybody what to do when
I know,
even
but
when I'm out.
I'm just asking your advice because you've been
I'm
behind this for a long time.
I'm above no man. I can't tell you what to do because man will do what man wants to do, regardless of what information is given to them.
Okay.
I'm sure that there's going to be people that are going to people that like to watch the world burn are going to try something. They're going to play into this fucking agenda. And that's what fucking scares me. And I'm sure that's what they're trying to instill.
Yeah, I'm going to be reporting on it. The next episode, the episode tomorrow is going to be about primarily this spin and what I'm finding out about what they're planning on doing on January 17th. They're basically co-opting what you've been planning for months.
Exactly. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I'd like to. I'm a part of a national group of just like-minded people that like to sit down and discuss these issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have somebody that I look up to as far as not just as respectful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look up to him
Yeah,
as I follow him.
right.
We all do what is right, and that's it. You do for yourself. Nobody can take that away from you. And it's important now more than ever that we do this. I mean, you saw what happened 3 days ago. Do you agree with everybody that went out there? Because I sure as fuck don't.
Do I what now?
Do you agree with everybody that went out there and
Everybody
did what
went
they
to
did?
DC? No,
Yeah,
no,
I sure as fuck don't. And
no.
I'm sure half of the fucking population doesn't either.
Right.
I don't know what other events are planned coming up, but I know that there's one coming up on the 20th, and I'm pretty sure that's one ran by the Proud Boys, correct? I'm not judging any man because I'm not here to do that. I never have been. But if any example of what the Proud Boys have been doing has set any example for what they might do, are we going to wait until the 20th and let them try it again? We can't.
Okay.
Some people are still going to follow one man and not what's right. Like I said, man will do what man wants to do, but given information, some tend to change their minds.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say something real quick, since we're kind of just we're giving actual information out, and I wasn't really too happy with how you kind of advocated for calling everybody a terrorist and Trumpers were terrorists, because I'm sure that's important.
I didn't say that because that isn't true. Not every, and I've said that a couple of times now, and in the last episode I addressed that too. Not every Trumper is a terrorist, not at all. And I didn't label them terrorists, the mainstream media. labeled them terrorists and gave it the label MAGA terrorist. Now,
Yeah, you just took that narrative and ran with it and didn't think for yourself. I asked you that.
no, actually, the whole point of the last episode was that it's going to be guilt by association. Just like in communities of color, there are people that wake up every day and they're presumed to be a felon just because of the pigment of their skin. There are going to be people now that haven't been known associates or supporters of Trump that are automatically going to be guilty by association to some people. And if I came across
They
and
like
say
to group
everybody
people
that's a
together
Trump is
so they can. That's the thing. See, they like to group people together so they can do stuff like this, so they can label you a terrorist. And I'm proof of that. You realize that they've used the Patriot Act on me, and they've literally admitted this in the freaking paper.
no,
They used the Patriot Act against me, and not just me, but the activists down there in Lafayette. They surveilled everybody's social media accounts.
yeah.
Everybody, and I'm sure it didn't end there. I'm sure it's still going on, which is one reason why I don't want to go back. I don't want to help hurt them.
It's okay, man.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I've had fucking guns pointed at me. I've had guns fucking drawn at like on me by fucking police officers, and I had to choose whether to stand my ground then or to live to fight another day. Because, and that's the thing, you've got the ones that like to watch the world burn, that are out shooting cops as far as, you know, Boogaloo boys are concerned, or trying to fucking manifest bombs or work with other terrorist groups, which that is that's another thing. You know, the two that apparently worked with Hamas?
Yeah.
Yeah. They used my photo in Lafayette as one of the two terrorists that are working with Hamas.
Wow. Seriously.
Yes, sir. You can look it up as far as Google goes, because it's there. I mean,
Wow.
if you just type in Louisiana Boogaloo, you can see a lot.
Well, let's just make sure and clear it up right now. You're not part of Hamas, right? The terrorist group out of the Middle East.
Fuck no.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, is anybody else going to give you the chance to say that? You
No,
know?
I don't think so. But then again, it's
So now it's out there.
never really told anybody either.
Well,
Even when I was in Austin, Texas, and I had the guns drawn on me by police officers, not just me, but several other guys, because why? We fucking showed up armed to a Black Lives Matter protest, and we were making sure that they weren't fucking tear gassed, they weren't fucking pepper sprayed.
and that happened here in Indiana too, at one of the marches up in northern Indiana.
They're literally fucking peacefully
Boog
voicing
showed up and they stood there, leaned against the fence and watched them march by and made sure they were safe. I saw it. Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, there's going to be elements of every group that do things that don't represent the whole group. But
exactly. But then you've got the government is now being harmful to its citizens.
yeah,
They're putting them against each other. You realize there's so much going on that if you just sat back and listened to everything, it's fucking heartbreaking.
yeah.
you have people from all sides that are literally fucking screaming and they're being brushed to the side.
Yeah. And if I came and Boog, if I came across that I was saying that every Trump supporter is a terrorist, that's not what I meant, because I don't believe that's true. Um, and um, and I don't like the way some of the media are talking to him. You know, the media talk to the Trump supporters like they're all stupid, and they're not. They just all have been misguided, in my opinion. And a lot of them are incredibly passionate and believe what they're doing is patriotic. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree what they're doing is patriotic.
I know, but they believe it. But they believe it.
They do, because they're following one man and not what's right.
Right. Right. Total agreement.
And that's going to be the downfall of man, and that's going to be our downfall. All our rights. If we let this continue now, we already don't have hardly any rights. The Constitution's almost dead at this point. Are we going to continue to let them violate us anymore? Well, I mean, we don't have much left for them to take. I know I don't. All they can do is fucking kill me at this point. So, I mean, if that's the case, then I'm going to say what I got to say.
Okay. Is there anything you want to end with, man? Anything you haven't said that you haven't want, you know, because I know you wanted to talk. And I want you to have the platform.
I wanted you to kind of see from my perspective. That's kind of why I've been on your show, is because you've given that option. And I don't have a platform. I don't have social media. So, I mean, I appreciate that. I just needed to tell you that you got to think for yourself. Like, that was my misconception, is because you came off like you were calling Trumpers terrorists.
No, I apologize.
Them together.
Yeah.
And coming from somebody that's been labeled one themselves, it's deterring.
Yeah.
It's tiresome. But when you're set on this path of doing what's right, and you know it's right, you can't just stop. You might have to step back and take another role.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've had to do.
Okay.
I've been trying to kind of get my point across without having to even say anything, because this is not something that we're trying to force on anybody. This is what I do is completely voluntary. And like I was saying earlier, as far as somebody that I respect, I would like to send him your information.
Please.
Or vice.
Yeah.
And let him come speak a little bit more about the 17th.
I'd love to have that happen. Please.
But since we're kind of just we're speaking truth now, and everything, remember the episode that I was on, and I told you that I was talking to Grandmaster Jay?
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing that they're doing with Impact now. They're about to label them all kinds of shit just because group affiliation, when I know the same men over there have the same passions, same values. They're trying to do what's right, but they're following one man.
I'm sorry. Because you kind of bleeped there a little bit. I believe you said they're trying to do the same thing to Impact because they're following one man. Is that what you said?
Yes, and he's misleading. Just like he misled me in Lafayette. I've never spoke ill of him.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to tell them how to protest. I'm not here how to tell them how to handle their stuff. I'm just here to help.
Mm-hmm.
But after I tried to let him know what was going on, that message that I thought I received in one of his videos, that was my name, my real fucking name. He said that in, I want to say, 2 of his videos, and put it on shirts and tried to sell them. I mean, how else am I?
Wow. How
How else am I supposed to fucking, take that? Because at what point is it considered a coincidence when you're trying to reach out to somebody? You know what my name is, Barry.
Yeah, I do. And I've never told anybody and never intend to.
You know that happened.
If I saw it, I
this
haven't seen
death
it.
from the
I haven't
beginning.
I haven't seen it. If I saw it, I could verify that it was your name. But I don't want to, I mean, I'm not, but
But those videos have since been deleted.
okay.
And it's like every time that I even try and bring up the subject when he's not, caught up in what's going on, because I also thought, these charges are bogus, but they like to cut the head off a snake, and you can't do that. You can't do that here because it's every man doing what's right for himself, not following one man. How do you cut a head off of somebody, or just one group of people, if you've got hundreds of guys that are trying to do what's right?
Yeah. Do you think that's what happened at the Capitol on Wednesday? That there was no, other than the president and Rudy Giuliani and the president's son instigating? Do you think it was rather without necessarily leadership, and it was several people doing what they thought was right at the same time?
More or less.
Couldn't be stopped.
But at the same time, I feel like it was all these people were incited and misled by one man.
Right. Right. And you think the same thing's happening to INFAC, and that the government's going to take them down person by person? Or just going to remove Grandmaster Jay and in fact.
Do you realize that some INFAC members have been arrested?
No.
Look into that.
Okay. All right.
And a lot of them are just dropping off like flies. I'm curious as to why, but at the same time, I'm curious as to why he said my name.
Yeah.
There's a lot of answers, there's a lot of questions about both of these men, Trump and Grandmaster Jay, that we'll probably never get fucking answers to at this point.
And you're not the only one that's brought up both of those names at the same time. I'm just speaking truth. Wow. Okay.
If we don't speak for ourselves and speak from our experiences and what to be true, then we're not going to get anywhere.
Okay. All right. So send the guy or woman my way, whoever you said you're because I don't know if you said he or not, I don't remember. Send them my way, and we'll get set up, and I'll be happy to talk with them.
Absolutely. I'll get on that shit.
Because the 17th, the next step is the 20th.
See, that's what I hate about social media, is because the stuff that we have tried to put out, they block it with algorithms almost constantly. we probably got about 50 different flyers out at this point.
Yeah.
Like, there's no political goal to this besides the political goal of the people.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because they're not being represented anymore. Either side, you see that.
Yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. There's not a whole lot of difference between Republicans and Democrats, and the higher you go, the smaller the difference is.
Because I'm sure that, hell, if this video even stays up, Barry, that they'll let this fucking get out very far anyway. Because it is fucking truth and not their bullshit fucking agenda.
Honestly, Boog, you know, that's one reason I'm kind of happy my my platform's not any bigger than it is, because I don't think it's big enough to attract a whole lot of attention, except people that want to hear. You know, I don't think a lot of, you know, I don't think I'm a target of anybody because I'm not dangerous to anybody. And we'll see how long they let us keep it up.
All right.
All right, man. Take care of yourself. Blessings.
Don't turn me into the FBI.
Oh,
I'm
don't. Absolutely not. No. No, I don't turn anybody into the FBI.
Fuck the feds. Just saying.
Take care of yourself, man. Seriously.
We
All
had
right.
this conversation.
We'll be in touch.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
An incredible edition of the American Doofus Show, late night, Friday night edition with Galaxy Boog and Real Talk. Take care of yourself, man.
You too.
All right. It is the American Doofus Show. I am your host, Barry Welsh. Hey, don't be a doofus.